All right, here's something on a little bit of a lighter note, or maybe not so much lighter. Back in 1963, some Daily Wire, Elizabeth Taylor, then the hottest actress in the world, starred as Cleopatra in an over-the-top, star-studded blockbuster with a $31 million budget, equal to $327 million in today's dollars. Taylor likely didn't look much like the Egyptian queen, what with her lily-white skin and dark blue eyes with purple irises. But back then, everything wasn't so politically correct, and people didn't take offense at meaningless things. Skip ahead 60 years, Netflix's new documentary, Queen Cleopatra, has drawn controversy and blackwashing claims after Adele James, a black actress, was cast in the lead role as Cleopatra. And yes, in fact, historical records show that Cleopatra was not black, but Macedonian Greek. The documentary, part of the African Queens series, explores the rise and fall of the last pharaoh of Egypt and was released on May 10th. But it's the dismal ratings that are making headlines. The documentary currently has a 2% audience rating on Rotten Tomatoes, which Forbes says is the lowest in history. The average tomato meter score, which calculates how many critics rate it favorably, stands at 10%. So it is a 10% rating among the critics and a 2% rating among the actual, regular audience. Here's how bad it is. The worst film on the movie rating site, Ballistic X vs. Sever, in 2002, has a 0% rating on the tomato meter, but a 20% favorable rating by the audience. Another stinker, One Missed Call from 2008, also has a 0% tomato meter, but a 20% audience score. And the Nicolas Cage bomb, Left Behind, from 2014, got 0% from the critics, but 22% from the audience. Whereas this only has 2% from the audience. Forbes notes that the creator of the series, Tina Garvey, has defended the casting choice. She said, quote, "Why shouldn't Cleopatra be a melanated sister? And why do some people need Cleopatra to be white? Her proximity to whiteness seems to give her value, and for some Egyptians, it seems to really matter. After much hand-wringing and countless auditions, we found in Adele James an actor who could convey not only Cleopatra's beauty, but also her strength. What the historians can confirm is that it is more likely that Cleopatra looked like Adele than Elizabeth Taylor ever did. Summer is here, and Good Ranchers wants to give you what you've been craving, which is a nice summer steak on the grill. Can you hear the sizzle already? I know that I can. I'm not sure what your favorite steak is, but mine is every steak I get from Good Ranchers. They're all great. Every cut is sourced from local American farms and hand-cut, trimmed, and aged to perfection. They have ribeyes, New York strips, all-natural burgers, and all the most delicious chicken you could ever want. Plus, it's $30 off with my code Walsh at goodranchers.com. Good Ranchers is committed to giving you inflation-proof meat that you can count on. Right now, they're offering a price lock guarantee for the next 2 years, and there's never been a better time to take advantage of an offer like that. Imagine if you could have locked in your price 2 years ago, you would have saved hundreds. Well, don't wait any longer. Gear up for an unforgettable summer of barbecues and everything else, all the delicious food that you want. Great company and the perfect ambiance thanks to our friends at Good Ranchers. Head to goodranchers.com and use my code Walsh for $30 off any box. Delicious American meat and $30 off your order. You can't beat that. That's promo code Walsh at goodranchers.com. Goodranchers.com. American meat delivered. Pro-life battle has finally left D.C. and it's going to the grassroots. As one of the largest pro-life organizations in the world, no one's in a better position than 40 Days for Life to end abortion in a post-Roe America. With 1 million volunteers in 1,500 cities, 40 Days for Life holds peaceful vigils outside abortion facilities. Because of that, they actually have a larger presence in blue states, especially California. Former abortion clinic directors say that these vigils can cause the abortion no-show rate to go as high as 75%, which is disastrous for their business. And thank God for that. These law-abiding vigils have helped close abortion facilities in San Francisco, Seattle, and Chicago, many other cities as well. They also are leading the way in efforts to prevent pharmacies from dispensing chemical abortions. You can support their work and check out their locations, podcast, and free magazine at 40daysforlife.com. The pro-life fight continues. It's never been more important. And for more information on 40 Days for Life, go to 40daysforlife.com. You know, here's the thing about this. I could be perfectly fine with the race swapping of certainly race swapping of fictional characters. I could be completely fine with that. And even with historical figures, I could be fine with that too. You know, a different take, a different interpretation on a historical figure. Any biopic, even something that builds itself as a documentary as this does. But all these films, they all fictionalize the lives of these historical figures to some degree. And so I could be okay with a version of a story where they swap the race out and they take a white historical figure and have a black actor or actress portray them. I could be totally fine with that if we had a consistent standard for these sorts of things. Okay, if we just took the approach across the board that, hey, whichever actor seems to nail the role the best, just cast them. It doesn't really matter what their race is. And there's a little bit of suspension of disbelief. But again, all these stories are either fictional stories or at a minimum, they are fictionalized accounts of historical events. And so it doesn't, the race doesn't matter. If that was our attitude across the board, then I'd be fine with that. I'd be on board with that. But we know that's not the case. We know that this would never go the other way. It never could go the other way. You certainly would not find Netflix putting out a documentary about an actual black historical figure being portrayed by a white person. That would never happen. But if there is any hope of compromise, if this is one issue we can compromise on, I'd take that compromise. Race swapping, have fun with it. Do everything you want. You want to put out a biopic about Martin Luther King Jr. and actually have someone like Ryan Gosling portray him, go ahead and do it. That would, it would make for some interesting films at least. But they want to take one standard and apply it, inconsistently to one group of people, and that just doesn't work. You can't do that. We're going to hold you by your own standards, but that's the point. There it is on the left. This is your standard. It's not that we really care that much about race swapping. It's not our issue. You care about it. And so we are holding you to your own standard. We can't depend on you to do that. This can't be an honor system sort of thing, so we have to force you to stand by your own standard. And that'll do it for this portion of the show. As we move over to the members block. Hope to see you there. If not, talk to you tomorrow. Godspeed.